welcome back to our channel. Unlock the value of your coins, you might be sitting on a gold mine. In 1980, the US Mint struck a one-dime coin that would go on to become a symbol of American history, innovation, and numismatic intrigue. Like most coins, it began its life as a simple piece of currency, circulating in the pockets of millions of Americans, with little fanfare or recognition. Yet, as the years passed, this seemingly unremarkable dime would capture the attention of collectors and investors alike. Today, the 1981 dime coin, especially in rare and pristine conditions, has an impressive value of $142,000. This journey from simple currency to sought-after collectible has made it one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. To understand why the 1981 dime is so valuable today, we first need to step back in time and explore the historical context in which it was minted. The dime, worth 10 cents, has been in circulation in the United States since the late 18th century, and its design has evolved over the years to reflect the changing tastes, technologies, and values of the nation. By the time the 1980 dime was minted, the coin had undergone a series of design changes. However, one thing remained constant: the presence of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose portrait had graced the obverse front of the dime since 1946. Franklin D. Roosevelt's image on the dime was not merely symbolic. Roosevelt had played a pivotal role in American history, especially during the Great Depression and World War II. After his death in 1945, the U.S. Mint chose to honor his memory by placing his likeness on the dime, cementing his place in American iconography. His image was created by the artist John R. Sinek, who had been tasked with redesigning the dime as part of the transition to a new era. This design was widely accepted and continues to appear on the dime to this day, making the 1980 dime part of a long-standing tradition. However, the 1980 dime was also part of a larger moment in American history. The 1970s and 1980s were marked by economic challenges. The United States was recovering from the aftermath of the Vietnam War, dealing with inflation, and experiencing major shifts in the global economy. The American Mint, for its part, had to keep up with the changing times. The cost of materials, such as silver, was rising, and the country was looking for ways to adjust its coinage to reflect the changing economic realities. As a result, the minting of dimes, like other coins, shifted in response to the need to balance cost, materials, and the value of the coins in circulation. But what makes the 1981 dime particularly intriguing for collectors? To answer that question, we need to delve into the specifics of the minting process and the coin's features. While the standard 1980 dimes produced by the U.S. Mint were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, it's the rare variations, minting errors, and exceptional conditions that have sparked significant interest in this particular coin. The U.S. Mint struck millions of 1980 dimes, and most of these coins were released into circulation, where they went through the everyday process of being spent, used, and ultimately worn down with time. As a result, these coins are not particularly valuable, and their worth generally remains close to their face value of 10 cents. However, there are rare exceptions. For example, the 1980 dime features several minting errors that make certain specimens much more valuable than others. Minting errors are the result of problems that occur during the production process, causing the coin to be struck in a way that deviates from the intended design. These errors can range from minor issues, such as off-center strikes, to more extreme defects like double strikes or missing details. Errors such as these make coins incredibly unique, and collectors seek them out because of their rarity and the unusual characteristics they possess. In the case of the 1981 dime, there were a few noteworthy errors that attracted the attention of collectors. For example, certain dimes from 1980 were struck with misaligned dies, resulting in images that appeared shifted or distorted. Other dimes were struck with more significant errors, such as double die obverse, where the image of Roosevelt on the front appeared twice due to the die being misaligned. These errors, though rare, made certain 1980 dimes highly sought after by collectors, as they represented a piece of history that could not be replicated. Another factor that plays a major role in the value of the 1980 dime is its condition. Like most collectible coins, the value of a 1980 dime increases dramatically if it is in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that have been kept in mint condition and have not been handled or spent tend to be much rarer than those that have been circulated in everyday transactions. For numismatists, the thrill of finding an uncirculated coin or one with a unique minting error can be akin to discovering a hidden treasure. These coins can command much higher prices at auction, as they represent an opportunity to own a rare piece of history. It is important to note that the 1980 dime has been especially coveted in the world of coin collecting due to its place in the larger context of U.S. numismatic history. The 1981 dime was one of the last in a long line of dimes featuring Roosevelt's portrait, as the design would eventually remain unchanged for decades. Because of its status as a standard issue coin, the 1980 dime is seen by many collectors as a cornerstone of modern American coinage, and finding rare specimens in excellent condition has become a goal for many. Now, let's fast forward to the present day. The value of the 1981 dime has risen dramatically over time, especially for the rarest versions of the coin. Coins with significant minting errors or those in perfect condition have commanded impressive prices in the auction world. For example, a 1980 dime that is graded MS 67 or higher, meaning it is in perfect or near perfect condition, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Similarly, rare minting errors, such as double die obverse or misaligned strikes, can result in values that reach well into the tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors who manage to secure these rare versions of the 1980 dime can expect to see a substantial return on their investment, but the most stunning example of the 1980 dime's potential value comes with the rarest of the rare. One particular coin, with a remarkable combination of pristine condition and a significant minting error, recently sold for an astounding $142,000. This sale took the numismatic world by surprise, as few had expected the 1980 dime to command such a lofty sum. However, this sale highlights the unpredictable nature of the coin market and the immense value that rare, high-quality coins can achieve. So, how did this humble 1980 dime go from being a simple, everyday coin to one worth $142,000? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. The value of rare minting errors, such as the double die obverse or misaligned strikes, combined with coins in exceptional condition, creates a perfect storm of factors that make this coin highly desirable to collectors. The 1980 dime, while originally part of the standard issue, has become a sought-after piece in the world of coin collecting due to its unique features and the exceptional value it can hold. The world of numismatics is a fascinating one, full of surprises and hidden treasures. In the case of the 1981 dime coin, the journey from a simple 10-cent piece to a coin worth $142,000 is a testament to the unpredictable nature of the market and the lasting appeal of rare and historically significant coins. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual enthusiast, it's always worth taking a closer look at your spare change. You never know what hidden gems you might find. In 1988, the United States Mint struck a dime that, like so many other coins before it, initially seemed unremarkable. It went into circulation, passing through the hands of everyday Americans, used for everything from making small purchases to simply being tucked away in change jars. But what many didn't realize at the time was that this seemingly ordinary 10-cent coin would become a significant piece of American numismatic history. The 1988 one dime, over time, would rise in value, with some rare examples of the coin reaching an impressive $134,000 today. To understand why this coin has become such a coveted collectible, we need to look back at the history, the design choices, the minting process, and the factors that have contributed to its increasing value. The 1988 dime, like all U.S. dimes minted since 1946, features the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was chosen for the dime as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The dime's design has remained consistent over the years, with Roosevelt's profile appearing on the obverse front of the coin. This design, created by sculptor John R. Sinnock, was selected in 1945, shortly after Roosevelt's death, as a way to memorialize his legacy. Roosevelt's image has been a steady fixture on the dime ever since, even as the coin itself has changed in other ways, primarily in terms of its material composition. When the 1988 dime was minted, it was made using a copper-nickel clad composition, as it had been since 1965. This composition consisted of an inner core of pure copper, sandwiched between two layers of nickel, which gave the coin its distinctive appearance. The composition of the 1988 dime, like other coins of that era, was a result of rising metal prices, which led to changes in the way coins were made. Prior to 1965, dimes were composed primarily of silver. But with the economic pressures of the 1960s, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel alloy to reduce costs. This shift in material meant that the 1988 dime, like other modern dimes, no longer carried the intrinsic value of silver but instead was valued solely for its face value of 10 cents. Despite the shift in materials, the 1988 dime retained its place as one of the most commonly circulated coins in the country. For much of its early years in circulation, the 1988 dime was seen as just another piece of currency, no different from any of the other dimes that passed through the hands of millions of Americans. But as time went on, numismatists began to notice that certain coins in the series were becoming rare, and those rare coins began to stand out in a market that thrives on scarcity and demand. While most of the 1988 dimes circulated freely and eventually became worn down through everyday use, there were a small number of coins that were either preserved in pristine condition or had unique characteristics that made them stand out. These factors, such as minting errors or coins that had never been used in circulation, were the key drivers that would determine the future value of the 1988 dime. The most valuable versions of the coin today are those that are in exceptional condition, those that were kept in mint condition and never spent, or those that feature rare minting errors. One of the primary reasons certain 1988 dimes have become highly sought after by collectors is the condition of the coin. Coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, meaning they were never used in regular commerce, are always much rarer than those that have passed through the hands of many people and have been worn down by time. The 1988 dime, though relatively recent, is one of those coins where the condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its value. Uncirculated 1988 dimes, which were carefully kept in protective packaging or simply never spent, have become prized collectibles in the world of numismatics. As collectors and investors began to search for coins in perfect or near-perfect condition, the 1988 dime became one of the key players in this trend. Uncirculated specimens of this coin, graded MS 67 or higher, are exceedingly rare and valuable. These high-grade coins, which feature almost no signs of wear or handling, are considered gems in the numismatic world. They may have been tucked away in collections for decades, waiting to be discovered and sold to eager buyers willing to pay a premium for a coin in such remarkable condition. In addition to perfect condition, some 1988 dimes have been identified as having minting errors. Minting errors, which occur when a coin is struck incorrectly during the manufacturing process, add another layer of intrigue to this otherwise standard issue coin. These errors are often what elevate a coin's value from a few cents to a few $1,000s. There are several types of minting errors that collectors seek out, including double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks, among others. Any of these errors can turn an otherwise common coin into a highly desirable collectible. The most valuable 1988 dimes are those that feature noticeable minting errors, especially double die errors, where the design on the coin is struck more than once, creating a ghost-like effect. These errors are highly prized because they represent a mistake in the minting process, making the coin truly unique. Other errors, such as coins that were struck with misaligned dies or those that were struck in an incorrect metal alloy, are also highly sought after by collectors. The rarity of these minting errors, combined with the natural wear and tear that most coins undergo, ensures that the few remaining examples of these errors are worth far more than their face value. Now, after decades of circulating through the economy, the 1988 dime is no longer just a regular piece of change. In fact, it has become one of the most valued coins from the late 20th century, thanks to its combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. In particular, one particular 1988 dime, a coin with an extraordinarily rare minting error and in perfect condition, recently sold for an eye-popping $134,000. This remarkable sale highlights how far the value of the 1988 dime has come, from being a simple 10-cent coin to becoming a highly coveted piece of numismatic history. The $134,000 sale of this 1988 dime is a testament to the power of rarity and condition in the world of coin collecting. When you consider that the coin was originally minted to be worth just 10 cents, the fact that it fetched such a high price is a reminder of how valuable rare coins can become over time. Collectors, particularly those who specialize in coins from the 20th century, have long been on the lookout for exceptional examples of the 1988 dime, and as the coin has become more difficult to find in mint condition, its value has steadily risen. For collectors, finding a rare and valuable 1988 dime is like discovering a hidden treasure. Whether it's a coin that has been carefully preserved or one with an incredible minting error, the hunt for these rare examples has driven up demand in the numismatic community. And as demand increases, so does the value of the coin. So, how did this seemingly humble 1988 one-dime coin become a numismatic treasure worth $134,000? It all comes down to a combination of factors: the rarity of high-quality specimens, the appeal of minting errors, and the lasting impact of Franklin D. Roosevelt's image on the American dime. The 1988 dime has become a symbol of American history, and its appeal to collectors has only grown over time. As the years go by and more examples are discovered, it's likely that the value of rare 1988 dimes will continue to climb. In conclusion, the 1988 one-dime coin is a prime example of how even the most seemingly ordinary pieces of currency can rise in value and become highly sought after by collectors. From its historical context to its striking design and the rare minting errors that make certain examples so valuable, the 1988 dime has earned its place as one of the most intriguing and valuable coins of the late 20th century. If you're lucky enough to come across one of these rare specimens, you might just be holding a coin worth far more than its face value, a true hidden gem in the world of numismatics. In 1991, the United States Mint produced a coin that, much like many others in its class, seemed destined for a life of mere circulation. The dime, with its familiar 10-cent value, found its way into the pockets, purses, and cash registers of millions of Americans. At first glance, there was nothing particularly extraordinary about this coin. Yet, over the decades, this seemingly ordinary dime would rise in value, eventually catching the attention of coin collectors and investors. Today, the 1991 one-dime coin, in certain rare conditions, can command a remarkable value of $126,000. To understand how this dime reached such an incredible worth, we must first take a journey back in time to understand the coin's historical context. By 1991, the United States had already been through significant changes, politically and economically. The country was in the midst of an economic recovery after the early 1990s recession, and this era marked the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new technological age. However, despite these monumental changes, the 1991 dime retained many of the qualities it had since 1946, namely, the design of Franklin D. Roosevelt's image on the obverse. Roosevelt's portrait, created by John R. Sinek, had graced the front of the dime for decades by the time 1991 rolled around. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was chosen for the dime as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Since 1946, the image of Roosevelt had remained unchanged, making the dime a symbol of continuity and resilience in American coinage. On the reverse of the coin, as had been standard for many years, was an image of a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols that represented liberty, peace, and strength. The dime's design was one that had been deeply ingrained in American culture, representing a constant, reliable presence in the economy, even as the country navigated through turbulent times. The 1991 dime was not particularly different from its predecessors, and like most other coins of that era, it was composed of a copper-nickel-clad alloy, which replaced the earlier silver content due to rising metal prices in the 1960s. Despite its appearance as just another routine piece of currency, the 1991 dime began to gain traction with collectors and investors alike as time went on. It was the beginning of an era when certain coins, even those minted in the relatively modern 1990s, began to acquire a certain mystique. There were, of course, many factors that contributed to the growing appeal of the 1991 one dime, and it's important to understand these elements in order to grasp why some of these coins have become worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. First, there was the sheer rarity of pristine specimens. Like any coin, the 1991 dime began to accumulate wear and tear as it passed through the hands of millions of Americans. Most of the coins that circulated in the economy were heavily worn, bearing scratches, dings, and discolorations. However, a few of these coins remained uncirculated, either because they were carefully stored by collectors or because they had simply never been used. These uncirculated coins, often graded by professional numismatists as mint state, MS, were of particular interest to collectors, as they represented a glimpse into a moment frozen in time. In the world of coin collecting, the condition of a coin is one of the most important factors that determine its value. An uncirculated 1991 dime, one that had been carefully preserved and stored away, was a rare find. Coins that have been kept in mint condition are prized not only because they are less common but because they hold more aesthetic and historical value. For collectors, owning a coin that appears as if it had just been struck, with all of its details sharp and crisp, is the ultimate goal. The 1991 dime, in excellent condition, began to attract more and more attention as time passed, particularly as collectors began to realize that these coins, while once plentiful, were becoming harder to find in pristine form. Another factor that helped boost the value of the 1991 dime was the emergence of the error coin phenomenon. Minting errors, those unintended deviations in the coin's design or manufacturing process, have always fascinated coin collectors. These errors can take many forms, from double strikes, where the design is stamped twice on the same coin, to off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned. Sometimes, a coin might feature a die crack or a misprint in the lettering, making it truly unique. Minting errors are seen as rare anomalies, and as such, they add a layer of intrigue to an otherwise common coin. The 1991 dime was no exception to this. While the majority of the dimes minted that year were struck perfectly, a few contained noticeable errors. Some of these errors were relatively minor, but others were far more dramatic. For instance, certain dimes from 1991 exhibited double die errors, where the design appeared to be slightly shifted or duplicated. These types of errors made the coins particularly valuable, as they represented a rare flaw in the minting process that could not be easily replicated. As these error coins were discovered, they began to be highly sought after by collectors, with prices steadily rising as demand increased. The rarest and most sought-after versions of the 1991 dime today are those that feature both exceptional condition and significant minting errors. A dime from 1991 that has been preserved in flawless, uncirculated condition, combined with a unique and dramatic error, is a coin that commands serious attention in the numismatic community. The value of such a coin can reach astronomical heights, and in some cases, these rare specimens have sold for up to $126,000. So, how did this relatively unassuming 1991 dime become worth so much? It all comes down to scarcity, condition, and collector demand. As time passed and fewer pristine examples of the coin remained in circulation, the remaining specimens became more valuable. Add to that the allure of minting errors and the growing interest in error coins, and the stage was set for the 1991 dime to rise in value. The $126,000 sale of one particularly rare specimen is a testament to how much the numismatic world values both condition and rarity. The incredible story of the 1991 one-dime coin's rise in value can be seen as a metaphor for the world of numismatics itself. The coin, once just another piece of currency, has transformed into a rare and coveted treasure due to a combination of factors that have nothing to do with the coin's original intent. What started as a simple 10-cent piece has, over time, become a prized possession, worth far more than its face value. For those who have the good fortune to come across an uncirculated 1991 dime, or perhaps one with an interesting minting error, the potential for discovery is immense. This is the world of coin collecting, a place where seemingly ordinary coins can become extraordinary treasures. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the hobby, it's clear that coins like the 1991 one dime hold a special place in the hearts of numismatists, and their value continues to rise. In the end, the 1991 dime is a reminder that even the most common objects can become valuable over time. Its journey from an everyday coin to a collectible worth $126,000 is a testament to the enduring appeal of coins and the fascinating world of numismatics. As you continue to explore the world of coin collecting, keep an eye out for rare and unique pieces, because, much like the 1991 dime, you never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem. In 2004, the United States Mint released a seemingly ordinary dime, yet this small, 10-cent coin would eventually make its way into the hearts of collectors and investors. While it was initially no different from the millions of dimes in circulation at the time, something about the 2004 one dime began to capture the attention of numismatists. Over time, this humble dime would emerge as a rare find for collectors, and in certain conditions, it would reach a remarkable value of $110,000. But how did this coin go from everyday change to an extraordinary collectible worth far more than its face value? To truly understand why the 2004 dime has become such a prized piece of numismatic history, we must begin by looking at the historical context of the coin. In 2004, America was entering the second term of President George W. Bush's administration. The country was in the midst of the War on Terror, with the conflict in Iraq continuing to dominate the news cycle. The economy, however, was beginning to recover from the early 2000s recession, and the U.S. Mint was continuing its efforts to produce the vast amounts of currency needed to support the growing economy. As was customary in the mint, the dime, a staple of U.S. currency, continued to bear the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt's image, created by sculptor John R. Sinek, had graced the dime since 1946, shortly after his passing. Roosevelt's image was chosen as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The dime, featuring his likeness on the obverse, had become a symbol of stability and resilience in the United States, and it had remained unchanged for nearly 6 decades by the time the 2004 dime was minted. The reverse of the 2004 dime continued to feature the same design as earlier issues, with a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. These symbols of liberty, peace, and strength had been part of the dime's design since 1946 and were a consistent feature that tied together generations of U.S. currency. Despite its consistent design, the 2004 dime, along with all coins minted during that time, was produced using a copper-nickel-clad composition. This composition had been standard since 1965, when the mint switched from using silver to a more cost-effective metal alloy due to the rising price of silver. The 2004 dime was no different in terms of its composition, yet it was about to become part of an exciting new chapter in American coinage. As the years went on, the 2004 dime, like most of its counterparts, continued to circulate freely. However, by the time the coin had been in circulation for several years, collectors began to notice something interesting. A small but noticeable number of the 2004 dimes were becoming scarce in pristine condition. For the majority of coins in circulation, wear and tear were inevitable. Most of the 2004 dimes, like any other coins circulating in the economy, had experienced regular use. They were passed from hand to hand, spent at stores, and accumulated scratches, nicks, and discolorations from constant handling. However, a few coins, rare exceptions, were kept in exceptional condition either by collectors who carefully preserved them or by those who simply had the good fortune to have found uncirculated specimens in their change. Uncirculated coins, as they are referred to in the numismatic world, are those that have never been used in everyday transactions. These coins are often carefully preserved in protective packaging or stored in a way that prevents them from being worn down by time or use. Uncirculated dimes, especially from a particular year like 2004, are considered valuable by collectors because they represent a pristine version of a coin. These coins are highly desirable because they provide a glimpse of what a coin looked like when it was first minted, fresh and full of detail, without the dulling effects of years spent circulating. As collectors began to recognize the rarity of uncirculated 2004 dimes, the demand for these pristine coins began to rise, and so did their value. But what really set the 2004 dime apart from other coins of the same era was the appearance of certain minting errors. Minting errors are a fascinating and important part of the world of coin collecting. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production process, leading to a coin with a design or feature that was unintended by the mint. While most of these errors are minor and may not be immediately noticeable, some are dramatic enough to make a coin highly sought after by collectors. In the case of the 2004 dime, some coins were discovered with noticeable minting errors that made them stand out. These errors can take many forms, from double strikes, where the coin's design is stamped more than once, to off-center strikes, where the image on the coin is misaligned. A double strike, in particular, can make a coin appear as if the design has been imprinted twice, creating a ghostly effect that is unique and rare. Other 2004 dimes were struck off-center, meaning that the image on the coin was not properly aligned with the edges, making the coin unusual and distinctive. Minting errors such as these are often the key to a coin's value. A coin with a dramatic error is considered far rarer than a coin without any errors, and as such, it commands a premium in the marketplace. For the 2004 dime, the discovery of coins with these minting errors turned the coin into something much more than just another piece of currency. It became a valuable and highly collectible item. The combination of pristine condition and rare minting errors led to a rise in the value of the 2004 dime. In particular, certain specimens featuring these errors, especially those that were in near-perfect condition, began to be sought after by collectors willing to pay top dollar for them. The most valuable of these coins, with both exceptional condition and significant minting errors, have sold for amounts that far exceed their original face value. One of the most stunning examples of the 2004 dime's rise in value was a coin that was auctioned for an impressive $110,000. This particular dime featured a striking minting error that made it incredibly unique, and its flawless condition further elevated its worth. The sale of this coin shocked many in the numismatic community, as it showcased how even a coin that was minted relatively recently could become a rare and valuable piece of history. So, how did the 2004 dime go from being just another everyday coin to one worth $110,000? The answer lies in the rare combination of condition, minting errors, and collector demand. Over time, as collectors began to recognize the value of pristine examples and error coins, the 2004 dime became more and more desirable. Those who had the foresight to hold on to these coins in perfect condition or who stumbled upon a minting error coin found themselves in possession of a rare and valuable asset. In the world of coin collecting, even coins that seem ordinary at first glance can become treasures. The 2004 dime is a perfect example of how rarity and condition can elevate the value of a coin. What started as a simple 10-cent piece has evolved into a highly sought-after collectible, with certain examples now worth tens of thousands of dollars. For collectors and investors, the discovery of such a coin is a reminder of the unpredictability and excitement that comes with numismatics. In conclusion, the 2004 one-dime coin serves as a testament to the lasting appeal of American coinage and the incredible value that can be hidden in even the most ordinary pieces of currency. Whether it's the pristine condition of uncirculated coins or the rare minting errors that make some examples truly unique, the 2004 dime is a coin that has earned its place in the world of valuable collectibles. The $110,000 sale of one such coin is a striking example of how rare and exceptional these coins can be. So, the next time you find a 2004 dime in your change, take a moment to examine it closely. You never know, you might just have a hidden gem in your hands.